using 3 scales at one time. And that's because to me, it's just one scale. And I've merged the pentatonic scale with 3 different minor scales on top of each other. So it's just one generic tool that I can use to play solos with. But I'm still using the pentatonic scale as the primary one, and there's a specific reason for that. If you want to do the same thing and cut your learning time when it comes to scales in like a 10th of or 10% of what you would usually use to learn scales, then please stay with me for the lessons in this video. It's the one scale approach, right? I'm Claus Levin from GuitarMastery.net, and this is an exclusive lesson for MusicRadar.com. Go to the website if you're not watching the video there, so you have the charts in front of you. What we're going to do is we're going to investigate why it is that most people never go from the pentatonic scale into the diatonic scales like the Dorian minor, the natural minor, or even the harmonic minor. Why don't we transition from one to the other? Well, because it's hard to use the diatonic scales, like the natural minor. You know, you play a song in D minor, and then you try to use the D minor scale, and it's super hard because there are notes in there that doesn't always sound that great. So if I got like just a D minor here, and it's dominant, the A major, and I try to use the natural minor scale. Right? Oh, that sounded pretty good. No, not so much. Oh, now it sounded good, right? Oh. Doesn't sound good, right? So as soon as you go from the minor pentatonic, or just the pentatonic, into any one of the other scales, you're suddenly faced with the fact that, hey, this is hard. I'm not safe anymore. Safe? That's why I call the pentatonic scale your safe zone. Because we learn it first, and we learn that it's a cool tool. I remember my dad, he used to play something on the black keys of the piano, which is the pentatonic scale. And then he played do-ba-da-da-hoop-ba-do, and I could just play any one of the other black keys up here, and I was playing a melody. So I could press random keys, and it sounded like music. That was my first experience of, hey, this is easy, I can do this, right? The same thing goes on a guitar. Same pentatonic scale. It works in most cases. It's the ultimate safe zone, the ultimate bundle of notes that we can use over any chord in the chord progression, whether it be blues or rock or melodic rock or whatever it is, right? So we want to expand from the pentatonic scale out into other scales, right? We want to add the natural minor scale to our, in this case, D minor pentatonic. We want to add the D minor pentatonic. And D natural minor scale, and then we want to add the D Dorian minor to it as well. And then, you know, we want to add the D harmonic minor. Right? But we still want all the time to have the focus on the minor pentatonic because that's our safe zone. I'm just going to go close up, show you these tools up, you know, close up, so you can start practicing them. And then you can go back and forth between using the pentatonic scale, moving out into one of the more advanced tools and back again. But I'm just going to give you a little example here. We play the D minor, right? Which is the natural choice is to play the D minor pentatonic. But then I'm going to play the dominant to that. So let's just... And then the A dominant 7th, or the A 7th chord. And then D minor again. If I use the pentatonic scale, it will, you know, it will be valid over both chords. Right? But if I then use the natural minor over the D minor, and then a D harmonic minor over the A dominant 7th, in the same position, just changing a couple of notes on each string, on some of the strings, then I can do some really cool stuff. So now you hear the notes of the pentatonic, then the natural minor, harmonic minor. Only one note changes. pentatonic, natural minor, harmonic minor. I just did all this on 4 strings, right? And when you look at the charts, you can see how little actually changes in this, right? It's just amazing. And if you focus on expanding the minor pentatonic with these other notes, then you can use your licks, your sequences, and then just go into, like, if I'm playing, that's a lick in the D minor pentatonic. And then you just put in a note from the natural minor. Right? And another one. It's so easy if you start playing around with the extra notes. You can also, if you have like not a melodic rock context with real chords, but you have like an AC/DC type of thing where you go something like that, you can mix the D minor pentatonic or the deep blues scale with the Dorian minor. Right? Those are the tools that you will use 99% of the time if you learn them. And you can start on just 3 strings and say, okay, I got my D minor pentatonic. Let's play D minor and A, or play any chord from the D minor scale, the D natural minor scale. And then use that combination of scales. And then if I go to the dominant, the A, dominant 7, you have to read up on your theory to really get this. Then I go for my harmonic minor. But you can use your ear to determine this. If I got like a random chord progression, right? Say I got a chord progression that's just a... Right? I have no idea what key that is in. Let's just say I don't. Right? Then I can try to see if I can, hey, let me see if I can find out... Just playing the first position minor pentatonic. Hey, it fits right here, right? Let me just turn this down. It fits here. So this is the E minor pentatonic I'm using. Let me see if I can use my natural minor with that. I could, it sounds great. I could also try the Dorian. Wow, that's bad. So the combination I want to use is E minor pentatonic with the E natural minor. And for the last chord, I can go for the E harmonic minor, right? Just by trying out the little changes that are in these shapes. Once you have it down in the first position minor pentatonic, you can reach out for these 3 other scales. Then you can go to the second position and combine the scales there. And pretty soon you're using 4 scales at once, using the pentatonic shapes, the pentatonic scale as a safe zone, as something you return to, because you know all the notes there work, right? You can use them. You have something that works, and then you use all the other notes of the 3 other scales as spice. I really urge you to go into this and break free from the minor pentatonic. And just use your ear to determine, okay, what pentatonic scale do I... Oh, it works here. Yeah, that's where it works. And then investigate, okay, if I play the natural minor, does it sound great? Or does it sound awful, right? If I play the Dorian, that's not good. Use your ear. That's it. And then if you start in one position on only 3 strings and just grind it, practice it every week, just become better and better at adding those extra notes. then I promise you pretty soon it'll be like, wow, I got one scale that fits all. I just change it a little bit all the time. So we're working with three different shapes here. First of all, we got our first position minor pentatonic. Right, that's also the major pentatonic shape if you have another chord in the background or using it in a different context. It's just the pentatonic scale. And we got the notes in the 10th and the 13th fret on the low E string, then 10 and 12 on the A, 10, 12 on the D, on the G it's the same thing, and then 10 and 13 on the B string, and then 10 and 13 on the high E. That's the pentatonic shape. Then we can combine that, as I said, with the Dorian mode, which is, in this case, if you put this shape on top of the minor pentatonic, you get the 10, the 12th, and the 13th. On the A string, it's the same thing as the pentatonic, it's the 10 and 12. Then on the D string, you got the 9th, the 10th, and the 12th. Same thing here. On the G string, it's the 9th and 10th and 12th. And on this string, you got the 10th, the 12th, and the 13th. And the same thing here. So if you imagine that scale, which is just the major scale, right? It's a C major scale that we put on top of our D minor. So you can go down one step and then play the major scale there, which would then result in that being the Dorian minor if you relate it to that D minor theory, right? So that's the first thing. So see on the charts there, you can see the whole C major scale laid out on the fretboard, and then the first position, D minor pentatonic, just in this first position here. Then we're going to shift that C major scale and instead play the F major scale. So we're going to lay that out across the fretboard here, and then play the same D minor pentatonic on top here. So if you put the F major on top of the D minor, then you would get the D natural minor scale. So that's another way of saying it, that you have the D natural minor on top of the D minor pentatonic, and that looks like this. 10, 12, 13 on the low E, 10, 12, 13 on the A. Then we have the same notes as in the pentatonic on the D string and the 10th and 12th. Then you go for the 9, 10, and 12 on the G, and the 10, 11, and 13 on the B, and then 10, 12, and 13. And you'll notice that the only difference between this shape and the Dorian is one note, right? You got here. That one is the change. Before it was here, and the Dorian it was on this string. Now it's one step lower. There it is again, the same note. In the Dorian case, it was. Now it's right, and this is the same. So these are the shapes we're going to use, but we're going to focus on our minor pentatonic and then add the other notes to it.